Hey everyone, it's Michael
and Jill
from More and More Living, and today we're going to be showing you a pantry demo redo. So here's our current pantry, and you can see in here we have these wire shelves, and we're going to be replacing that with some wooden shelves that we got from EasyClosets. So we're excited to do that. First, we'll just give you a bit of a closer look at what is currently in our pantry.
Yes. So I have all these things categorized because that was my first attempt at organizing the pantry. I've got the pasta basket, of course, because you gotta have pasta. Chips. I've got baking supplies over here. I've got miscellaneous food that came from Virginia that needs to be sorted and dealt with. Now's a great time to do that. I've got the bread basket over here. Breakfast, more breakfast, Yoshi stuff, and some 100-calorie packs. So as you can see, I tried to make something out of nothing, but the wire shelving is just inadequate. It just doesn't work. I don't like wire shelving. It's throughout this entire house, and in the pantry it needs to go. So we're going to tackle that.
So just to give you a closer idea of what we've got here, up here at the very top, you can see these shelves are very tall, about 6 feet tall, and even with my arm fully extended, very hard to reach all the way up there into the pantry. We've got some excess chips up there, some of our Corningware, down a little bit lower, miscellaneous ingredients, overflow, the baking supplies as Jill mentioned, chip basket. We've got our pasta and some other miscellaneous stuff, bread, further down, cereals and Yoshi's things, and then all the way down on the floor, more of Yoshi's stuff, including his food container. Now what's going to be interesting about this is right here, this is actually the intake for our duct system. So that's going to be something we're going to have to work around inside of this pantry. Okay, so now that you kind of have a sense of what we're working with here, we're going to go ahead and unload this pantry, take all the stuff out. And while we're unloading, we'll speed this up and we'll kind of do a bit of a voiceover, talk about why we wanted to do this.
Yes.
So let's get started.
Let's do it.
Hey, this is Michael, just coming back with a voiceover here as we unload the old pantry. I think you'll see that even though we had these baskets in here, they were all kind of just put in a bit more haphazard. And we wanted something that could contain all of our items in a better way. And wood closets with that kind of storage is what we're used to. That's what we grew up with. And here in our new home in Winston-Salem, that's what we wanted to have as well.
Okay.
And there we go, pantry empty.
Ready to reset?
Go ahead and toss these aprons aside too.
Yes.
So you can actually see, we're working with quite a bit of space here. I'll just back out of the shot a little bit more so you can see that. But maybe we weren't using it to its best capability.
Yes.
We've got these cross beams here that really limit what you can do, because they actually do come down pretty far.
Yeah.
So I think our next step is we're going to start unscrewing this from the wall, and we'll speed that up as well.
Yes.
Hey, it's Michael again, just coming to you after this video is made. You'll see a little Yoshi tail there walking by. But I just wanted to talk about the process of removing these shelves. I didn't actually speed this one up. I wanted you to see how this works. So they're sitting on these clips, and trying to get them out of this tight space was a bit hard. You'll see here I'm kind of trying to maneuver it around that cold air return. Just not a lot of room to maneuver around in there with these wire shelves. And you can also see on the walls there tons of clips that these things were resting on. And so every single one of those had to be removed. Now I will say the clips did a great job of holding the shelves up. You can see me there hammering the piece out to remove it from the clips. But getting them out was not an easy task. This definitely was one of the longest parts of doing this upgrade. So that's something you'll want to keep in mind if you're going to be doing one yourself. And here at the last part, just showing kind of removing those verticals that give it the structure. Okay, so all the shelves are out of the old pantry, but we can see they left a lot of holes. Now I used wall anchors for this. None of this stuff was mounted to studs, unfortunately, which means I'm going to need to get in here, fill all these holes with some spackle, then hit it with some paint So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so here I've filled in all of those holes, painted over them. Still a little wet, as you can probably see right now. So I'm going to send it over to Jill, and she's going to show you all of the boxes, the many, many boxes that came with the new system.
Okay everybody, I am here in the far corner of the living room that goes right in from our kitchen, and I've got all the boxes here from the EasyClosets system, and I'm super excited to open them and see all the parts that are inside. It's really important that you open this box first, when that says open first, because it's got the instructions in it and also a lot of the parts and pieces that you're going to need for your assembly.
Okay, so I got everything unpacked here. You can see I just laid it all out. It's really important to make sure to inspect for damage, make sure that all of your parts and pieces are here. Luckily, everything looks great. These things were packed extremely well. And now all that's left to do is install it. So the first step for installing this closet system is you have to hang the rail that the entire system is going to be mounted to. And they recommend that you measure up from the ground 75 3/4 inches. So I've actually drawn a level line all the way across here. You probably can't see it on the video. The next step was to find the studs. Now they recommend you find at least 2. I went ahead and found 3 just to give it some extra strength using my stud finder, and those are marked along the way. Now the rail that they send with this is 72 inches. The closet here is just under 60 inches, which means I'm going to have to trim that down, so I'm going to do that right now. I have my rail cut now, and I used a hacksaw to cut this. It is made of metal. One important thing to remember when you're using a hacksaw, you'll want to do this outside or in the garage. You don't want to do it in your house, lots of metal shavings. Also remember to wear safety glasses with that too. Now, one other thing that EasyClosets recommended to do was use just a little bit of masking tape or painter's tape to indicate where the verticals are going to be. And you want to make sure that those are no more than 3 inches away from a stud. And if they are, you'll have to use the toggle bolts. Now, fortunately for me, these all align very nicely with my studs. So the next thing to do is hang this up right on the line. So I started out by just doing 1 screw right here in the center. And then I popped the level on top of that just to make sure everything was lining up the way it should. It's actually perfectly level, so the next thing to do is insert the other screws, and they recommend you use at least 2 screws per stud just to give it extra holding power. So now I've got my rail up, and as you can see it's still nice and level. So the next thing we're going to do is hang the vertical panels, and they just sit right on top of this rail. So I just wanted to show you installation of the last vertical here. I've got my other 3 in, and there's this notch right here, and that just rests right on the rail. And it's very simple to put these in. And there you go. Couldn't be easier than that. Now these are not the final location for these verticals. We'll move them around as we start installing the shelves. My next step here was to put the cams into what will become the top and bottom shelves. Actually, Jill did that for me. Thank you, Jill. So they recommend starting with the top shelves. Now I have to do something a little bit different here. I'm going to have to start with the bottom shelf here because I've got the cold air return here. So I'm going to have to screw that in and then slide the whole thing over. Then I can start putting in the top shelves. Now these things attach with either a single cam or a double cam. The singles are going to go on your outside edges where there's not going to be another shelf connecting. On your inside panels where there will be another shelf, you're going to end up using the double cam. So now we have the top and bottom shelves in. You might not be able to see those in this shot, but they are there, I promise you. One thing you want to do is make sure you have a square, and you can just put that inside on your shelves to make sure everything is nice and square. That'll make sure things fit in later, like the other adjustable shelves. Now, the option that we chose came with some drawers. Now, unfortunately, the glides are not attached to these drawers. So if you've ever worked with one of these before, they're really simple to take apart. There's just a black lever in there. You'll push it down, glide comes out, and this is the part you'll attach to the side of the drawer. So I've attached one piece of the glide to each side of my drawers, and I've already installed the bottom drawer here. It's just a little bit out of frame. Now I had to make sure to put the other side of the glide just a little bit higher because of where that drawer is going to sit. But for your other drawers, you can take the other side of that glide and install it at whatever height is going to work best for your drawer. Okay, so the drawers are all installed, and you can see they've already been loaded up. We just wanted to figure out what height we needed to install those drawers at. The final steps are going to be, we're going to install one more stationary shelf. So this one is not going to move, and it uses those cam locks. And don't worry, I will tighten this later. Your other shelves are adjustable, and it's just a solid piece here. I've already put some pins in. You know how adjustable shelves work. Just slide that in like that. Of course, these may move around as we start to load up the pantry, which we're going to do right now. Okay, the pantry is installed and fully loaded. Are you ready to do the big reveal?
Let's do it.
And there you have it. I think it looks pretty good. What do you think, Jill?
It is amazing. It has an incredible amount of storage. As you can see, the shelves are not anywhere near full. I had plenty of room for everything, and even a spare shelf to go. And this definitely makes me want to do the pantry right next to it, which is exactly the same but for our appliances. And I think that'll be not too far around the corner.
That'll have to be another video. Now, you might wonder what I'm holding here in my hand. You might also notice that you can still see the rail up there. Well, EasyClosets does include this vinyl that you just cut to size, and it just simply clips right into place.
Nice and easy.
Covers everything up for you.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we hope you enjoyed this pantry demo and rebuild. It took us about, 5 hours, I would say, so just an afternoon.
Yeah.
Not that much time at all for, I think, a really great result.
Yeah, the payoff is huge. It's so pretty. You can just see everything. It's really functional. The drawers are great. I mean, everything just turned out even better than I envisioned. I'm so happy. Like I said, I can't wait to do the other pantry right next to this one, and catch up with us soon because I'm sure it's right around the corner.
So if you want to make sure that you see that next video, make sure to subscribe to us. If you like this video, give us a like, and you can also ring the bell to get notifications anytime we post new videos, which shouldn't be that too far off. But for now, thanks for watching.